Malungil total mirarogul adlo ring setial siorgid guk ba silver tarabal se ela Brussels maksalo mur al total mring asule la station el girel tial mos edel me guk wai segel bebira aurol ni al center gida motmokl o se silta men chagal gora di momre edlo ai sai tara gora wal update asa agora el center el time motmokl agora 3 minute film clip el moraro el interested en la blur belau aquel tial film ase tal ngim one drop film challenge tia ora wadi lorura film lo aisa ngara askura blur belau sei ngara tutle la tial de belau ya on das ngrang sebel gut maklil mera awal klangar gida ad belau si agora ves el update el mera el time ngara bai soal ngutal tial le gore o aisha sengaria terul trigel researcher trigel motmok la galom subul dong motmok ra adbela belwat mak mo introduce tire gadmo mura shergid mangaria Cristina Karanassos nga tara researcher agora Vicente mangele Piera Biondi te del terunga o mangele al tutau ma selmo gorawal dai maluben tretela toxo orgida sei tirgal terunga mal di mom sada gel tora a gel do se MPA short for a marine protected area sa gel blue el basiora ba tial bolwat e triga motmok la gel al sel el gora malas mal merit la sa gel blue basion wangara asa el gut maklil mera melal tame mal sagal mo askra Cristina mo o ai sergida mo ngera gal kel del gelo la sei ngara gal blue basio wagra tetele legal blue basio a belar el al time ngara un mo club tutele legal blue basio. So at this time Cristina, I would like to yield the mic to you to let's begin by talking about what are the marine protected areas, what is the situation in Palau, and then why is it important to conduct survey in these areas?
Okay, so good morning. So marine protected areas, or conservation areas as they're sometimes called in Palau, they're areas that are protected from fishing and other activities to reduce the effects of overexploitation and to enhance biodiversity. So they're an important management tool that are used in Palau. And there are different types of marine protected areas. So there's no take, no entry, there can be like limited access. It depends on the kind of marine protected area. And the situation in Palau, so Palau has many MPAs or conservation areas, and some are part of the Protected Areas Network or PAN, and PICRIC surveys 13 PAN MPA sites. And it's important to conduct these surveys to assess the effectiveness of the marine protected area. So how well is it doing compared to an area that's not protected? So at PICRIC we do long-term monitoring to assess the effectiveness of Palau's Protected Areas Network MPAs.
Okay, kadalogul madiak masa magtira egal blue basyo. Muktegania mal di malas ngakro sa yel koram le muktegra do mule ngari tira sei tiam le bli angi lan di yam das mil tangan to angi ngari gel protected area sul da tiam le bli la alek melam tmal ma kora di ale dream da asmri ngakro sa protected area sabul belau gagi de bli basya bul belau el al time ngania gagi de protected area sabul belau angarni aklol gora al dalil malubeng gora wal al adlo gora ala gayid el togol conservation area da stama da stal blue todar sa gayid el aradra gal blue odar sa gayid el blue basura qablurin el modal seludula say pan malubeng sel Palau national wa Palau protected areas network ya al sel gayid el PAN MPA y ahora Reef Center a Surbia Tarma a Caldi 13 MPAs a PAN areas ahora Reef Center a Surbia Gide ngwase un club tutel do suba gide basio melmol moral aurora gide basio el mocter asei kami do mesa gay del basio el blad asim re odas el mapan ma dire el dora a om resiu ma lebe mga sisiu mo re gel basio nia guktia al protected areas mung se del do bedbil wasi mo se del do bedbil wasi egal blul basio ngaria algat makli tara to ngwa sei se go alu ben dia mal ngal algat makli se moktere gay del rorol longot moklar wa Christina ma tigel Creek Research Team rega gidil marine protected areas segidil pan ilang betul Christina mulukol la sem betul rega gidil site a member pan madia al member inya egal protected areas rabul belau malubeng MPA rabul belau betul ka gro suspel angara mo ko ramal le modak tia bot protected areas mal mogulul mo dia kurut ni mung segid obisra protected areas network amlo otma ke mole radra bulul wasi dia kal salwa isi ay gal protected areas ado sirs el moktegenia al muktel gora trael lolgi segid el basio ya o si time en direct toka kagaros luspela egal protected areas for example el hace el abira ngaralong ra otros mri en lemgul la bodosism en di real time kad mo realize asi ako klaka bodosism ringi oy ngil mo toka ngil maram en di tiya ko mal gora wadi lo tel dia gora dia lo tlil mela to amlo gaudnge egut makrisel management plan abil wase okay madalo ay say en dia do lang idil ngra al sel en tiablul basyo ending mo so edro ti tra turist el mel maklebo la mrendel mar turista ko kora mel el bak le o chisbra emulsion sen morabulu ma again so dal di maktakil wase ay garo gul MPA malum protected area sabul belau mal di mo tourism management plan la each area seguida o tirgid así me la de verte allí del blue basura hasta la blue en ara gel sebe de madal se del murura al se men I hope se agora mo clear me la mo gora sa dru ko gera piera what is Pickwick looking for when conducting MPA surveys?
Good morning. Well, as Christina mentioned, at Pickwick we do long-term monitoring of the marine protected areas to see how the MPAs benefits the natural resources. So for protecting the ocean, but also benefits the Palawan population. And so we survey different indicators such as commercially important fish and macroinvertebrates and the benthic communities, so basically corals and juvenile corals and seagrass. And basically we survey the MPAs and also we survey our reference areas nearby the MPAs with the same sort of habitat type. So for example, if the MPA protects the seagrass, then we're going to survey nearby site not protected with also seagrass beds. And based on the results of this survey, we can make management recommendations to improve the MPAs and the health of the ocean, basically. And we Pickwick has been doing this since 2014 and 2015, depending on which MPAs we survey. So we used to do this every 2 years, but now we switched to every 4 years because we noticed that the changes that we didn't see many changes between 2 years. So we extended the period to 4 years, and also it's a lot of work to survey an MPA. So since we didn't see big changes in 2 years, now we are going to survey every 4 years. Yeah.
Okay. Seguido lo gornia pero así ay galom sublo mokral se legal MPA malo marine protected areas tomes ay do israngil tomes rubber tackle wawal tetele rubber tackle sa tiang yum ng area marang o mes ay gele do sing invert ay gale ora ruagim marwa alet melat mok lagi de nurior ora malas ma wangara gora ala mo ringira beka bekleru rak ngagi dem lo aiso sei ngara mo gora recentera mo ko tayi dulu ra MPN lo mesa gagi del black pass ending tomol mo tiglo sei 2 years later bong en gora wadir galo sisiu wadir sisiu result trial ngay gal survey clorurol lo spera tokola mong tumlo kuldibil trigal del hakase digidra center emo tablo asay ngladia gal sal club to trail back clorurol bedo mesaigal lengura dia mal modo me de beren ora mo bol sel ngaret teme del motmok la bebira urol leng sel tauta survey me del tarak la survey raga hidro gol MPA anyway mengegida apera lo ay sila say me la sel boloru la gelura MPA lo mesay ga hidel wa ale de mangi gel ma bertak la ma brendel ete dire lo spelo say om suboloru ria o mesa say del simel basio e dire che si ya travasiol lora akmed el waingi el niña de el simel basio me la tem subir tel simel basio o mesa sel de el simel basio e ora campera egal bisalto say tial close versus open wara difference ni tomo mogdor seguir el basio di waingil gukti suda ngara eri la reference site melang MPA bekel MPA le survey angani selwa reference site mark medel wangi matamala samel mrula o sisiluro achung to survey angi mara al sela MPA e selwa reference same thing agaya lo sube ora malas lo ampere very interesting and very challenging pera thank you what are the 5 most recent technical reports that came out about the MPA sites? I remember you said that we've been doing this for a long time, so
yeah. The 5 recent one, because at the end of our survey we write reports and they are on our website. So we have been writing reports about, and forgive my pronunciation, but it's like 03OCT MPA in Natpang, the Normas conservation area in Narmao State, the Narumacao MPA in Koror State, Nelux conservation area in Nazar, and the Medal Nediol MPA in Airai. So these are the most recent 5 reports that we wrote. Yeah, and I mean, I guess now we can go in detail.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so lagi da pera lo sa tal lagat maklaurora MPA el momrek wal full complete na momrek ay rogul mligiril lo mes ma lo sub etulu sata wal report girel sa gid luror mela gel claim el gora mal digam momrek luror magat mokla al mlamlu sa report tri ngari sele all trul MPA ni ngar pang mangari ngar mas MPA or ngarmas conservation area ngara ngat mau mangari ang rumakal MPA ngar orior mangalus conservation area ngar SR mamadal ng diul MPA ngara airai ayagi na gel claim legal gora wal blue basyo mira la urorngi emla momre mamlamlu saya report magal report tadira sa edel mitigra Sel Coral Center website. Am I right? You can still find a copy of this report. Yes. I got the report del blago mas as el Morsel Coral Center website o mes igual report al sel mes el mom de la sen mal blo ngara agel gora ko makay tele la aurere la gal MPR sa long mo.
So,
You go on.
Yeah, Christina.
So I'll talk about the first one, the Atlurco MPA.
Okay.
This is actually not a PAN site yet, but we did a baseline survey in 2021, and so from the survey we found that the marine protected area is doing quite well at conserving invertebrates and fish. So in the seagrass habitat there were a high number of sea cucumbers. There were also high numbers of fish, specifically parrotfish, and then in the reef flat and lagoon habitats there were high numbers of clams in the reef flat, and then there were also high numbers of fish in the lagoon. So overall, the marine protected area is doing well, but the seagrass cover was quite low, around 12%. So there could be some sedimentation from the Nurmadu Bay, which is very close to the protected area.
Here, let me just clarify this. You began by saying Otrugl is not MPA, but you did the baseline.
No, it is an MPA, but it's not PAN. It's not a pan site.
Oh, okay. Sorry, okay. Now I understand. Okay, nga niya MPA la Cristina hukum sadra ako na tergibul ko makalu resel conservation area ngarangat pangalo drase oltrugul. Nga gidel mulgo mo seralo rura longot mokra dorsey en Chloa, when you say there were plenty of clams, are you talking about the crocea, the one living in the rock?
Yeah.
Oy, mlek Chloa orwera alsel, maigale elet si cucumber, mangigil, sila kampenin mo ragal upebira asaitel niya subda la ngara ernya rade. Togubet sili gale parrot fish gale gora kablira rwa amalama chlor alsel segid otrugul. Hindi ngo sisya ngo ge osisilo msub etedre kal mlomatig lo sei selguk bolo sur bertakl en wa kla dangit ra alsel tegid lo trugul mata talak la tegid el sel talgu coloral momeda em el tob dai muira el gora makitan el tob dai muira angar muduen gagi del dingit lo mes al sel tegid pial angar mudul mei si agora autoclear tora umbra la se seguidi au ul mukla dingit al sel e dire lo hacen. Can you talk about the shipping related damage that affect the seagrass?
I mean, I don't think there's any evidence for that, but that was one thing that was mentioned in the report, that it could be because there's a channel right there, right next to the marine protected area, so there could be shipping, when the ships go past, they could be damaging
okay. Ang selmo mong kora ulubong tara lor tara kanino sing affect egal sigras dirga ka kora ko makalom subil girel ndi se tialo trugla di brega tial beltua maklol dal nga ngakni metora ngora wadil luldas la sei tiarole la dial la dirga la sel top da egal kit lat mara wadial murada mara malu tial probera maklol dal mus tialiga tial selada adia lo gol dirga ngania bol tamli egal tial dulular se gora andira ko makalom su bendito sei agida bebera la sebel mo effect sel tora sigurase wow I think it's for the in the future it's for the if you could probably find a way to measure the impact of sediment from Wormudu or the shipping the shipping lane. I mean it would be nice to know because we can always add on to our knowledge of the area. That's if you have time. Anyway, and so
I can.
Okay, Christina has just talked about Otrugul. Piera, would you like to talk about the Narmasa conservation area?
Yes.
And Murumgaon?
Yes. Basically, both of them, they showed similar results. So Narmas has been surveyed since 2015 and Nurmukau since 2014, and they both were found to be very effective in protective macroinvertebrates, so like clams, sea urchin, and sea cucumbers. And also we have seen an increase over time of these macroinvertebrates, which is good. So one of the objectives of the marine protected areas is to protect the natural resources. So they are actually effective in protecting macroinvertebrates. We're still we need still more survey to tell something about fish, because so far fish population didn't really increase in the MPAs compared to the reference sites, but this could also be due to different factors. For example, the Nurmukau MPA, which is like basically the Oolong Channel, and our reference site is like up north in the Naran Language Channel, so they're very different. So this could also impact the fish, abundance and diversity. Sometimes it's hard to find a good reference site. In this case, and the Naran Language Channel was the closest channel we could survey. We need more survey, and for Narmas, the seagrass density was found to be kind of the same between reference sites and MPA. And the corals were in both MPAs. The corals were found to be higher inside the MPAs, a higher coral cover. So which that was also good. So and in Normacal, for example, it's a spawning area for some fish, for example, groupers or the bumphead parrotfish. So regardless, I mean, it being an MPA, it protects this kind of fish and spawning.
Okay, pera mo ay sa isalagat tablo MPL malagat mo ko sa 14 ma 15 tia selnguru ngaramas ngara angat mau mangru makaol ngar orior ngwase sel do me sagel da se macro inboard ta alet kim en ngwa loral mo tok pe sagal bisa subay bisal di sel lo me salangi kilen kora awala ka malungil de sala se oy el simrang ru makaol moral lam tok ani gini ese toka tol se bedel kora ultra klase ngul mo kora dios siwa al campe la seguir el reference a ngurumka la sel madala to arang remlui gora da sal malo sisi di to sen channel mo incoming channel mo to ora campere di result mo tigla sa remlunga bai gora wal to angi gini yang ngurumka la dimla ko endi tiang ngurumka la klo tutleleng blaktak laria subul namot mokro elo sei tialo melangi gini mengungil apa tu tinggal se oi al gora urubetak la tora ai do sangil mal moptok endi ngungil alol mol mol sei leng tarak lu tutrel basel lom eler ngil wai sele ebira ngan alo ngil lom eler ngar watiau ma tamagai mong gegi dem mol la sei mal ado me sai gal gukti be birangi gil surbel dagal wamral moptok endi ngungil adil mol mol simleng mel langi gini Okay, that's a very interesting Piera. Now, Christina, can we go through? This is the last bit, yeah. Okay, can you? Did you want to add anything to? Oh, sorry.
I'm going to talk about the Nalux and Medel Nidil. So these two MPAs have been surveyed since 2011. The reason for that is they were part of PICRIC's long-term seagrass monitoring program. So they have a longer data set, which is great. So for Nalux, the seagrass actually had a big decrease over time. So it decreased by around 50% since 2011. And the reason for this, it could have been initially Typhoon Bofa, which happened in 2012. And then also Typhoon Surigay in 2021 could have further decreased the seagrass. And then some other things like it's right next to, there are two rivers coming out either side, so there could be a lot of sedimentation that's kind of inhibiting the recovery. But some good things are that there were high numbers of sea cucumbers in both the seagrass area and the reef slope inside the protected area. But the fish biomass was quite low. And in the reef slope, it actually decreased over time. So it seems that the protected area is effective for the protection of sea cucumbers, but for other things, it might need more time to see some results. And some recommendations that we had was to improve the management of the watershed to reduce sedimentation, and then also to think about increasing the protected area, because right now it's quite small, and so fish which have a larger home range, which travel further, they might not be protected right now.
Okay. Wow, interesting. Ela ngale Christina hukno ay sa iselagel tablo el MPA malu marine protected areas el gora rufa direk el mutmuk la gayid lurur alsel indika atigi bil gora mo ori asing mal makata loru laurur alsel la gayid gora ruf sera 2011 umru wasam la moringi a 12 years el gora ruf o mai sel mot tagi el ngulu conservation area ma amadal ngadiul ngarai rai agal MPA klo tial dulu la ar alsel ela So you were saying the MPA, both MPAs have about 50% decrease in seagrass cover.
Sorry, that was just for Naluk.
Oh.
And I'll talk about Medal Nidul after you.
Oh, after okay. Christina, makadamamos mo di sila ngalus. Christina, ay sila seral 2011 lower sige del maral melmay sel dulu la ara al sila ngalus rablo ng esar. Medel wal logim el basentra aram lang wemed. Ending gagi din mo mulko lasi ang sebedo ko ulta ako lasing ay gale typhoon el mlay madirek el tiale dingit el ngara gal tablol madal mo al ngara esal maral metto del merbe bulang lu so lo la badingit legal sigura sai si de sel medek radingit en ma anyway se agora lo gorngi wa se sel dungura to rangi gele en gora sel muklung langi gel ma ay diesel agora wal lagal sel subdido la sen mral mo botok mela agora da sul gire la gigi da sei tramo mlas mloro la ang esar lo ngela state ng esar la sei kame bodo gergi kritial dingit nga bulul metob wa agora improve agale warshed area agel ro warshed ما ديريغ الغور أمش أسي كل شيء هذا الجلونية تيال MPA لين واسين أو مسين رجال عنيق الغار قال MPA أما التوب ده متمو ما تشوف من قطي جري يسأل التوب ده نسأل هذا المول من التوب ده تيال بلول باسيو يا الجلونية تيال باسيو نسأل ده لسين غاري عن كلوت إلا لعنيق المال مكلو لين مرال مرسل تليان eguk maral mertial teliang tia ngar al sel tial blul basio wal sebel ngal ngig mugro leng mlo sel teliang malakle le dia kam godil lendir ngar al sela se agora lo las mon molgoni very interesting Christina what about Medal Nidul?
Yeah, so Medal Nidul it seems to be really not doing very well. So for the seagrass, the seagrass cover has fluctuated over time, but there's been a general decrease, and right now it's very low, so it's around 4 to 5%. And then there was also a big decrease in fish biomass, and this could be related to the seagrass cover. And then also in the lagoon habitat, there was a decrease in the number of coral recruits, and then a big increase in macroalgae cover. So all of these things are thought to be related to sedimentation. So there was dredging of the channel in the Irai Bay. There's also been a lot of land development, and so runoff from the land going into the sea will be bringing a lot of sedimentation. And just from diving there, the water is so turbid. There's so much sediment in the water. You can really see it.
I remember I helped you guys. I helped you out once, and it was really murky. I mean,
it's really
like
murky.
3 meter visual. Visual.
And so then the sediment then goes down to the seabed and smothers the seagrass and the corals. So that's what we think is happening. And then also the numbers of invertebrates were also low. The main recommendation from this was to mitigate the runoff from the watersheds to decrease sedimentation.
Oh, so you're saying even though Medal Nidul has been surveyed since 2011, but so far it hasn't really shown sort of like a promising result.
No.
It's still kind of... Why siya Medal Nidul ang kagida Christiana ay sa mga total de survey di sa 2011 may among lamot 12 bits de survey gora dia ka malungil lol ultra sing wal gora sigura samral mo clo ma ngi glamral mo butok ay gigi del butok lo mas la sing wal gora mo kit self flashing malibe sel waral movement al sel Medal Nidul agora wal lakal salungil mral mong akora o ay setyang agora mo malat ketiale ngarmit bay sel ngarmit bay 72 hours ngwid merul el sigang enya wal tal marumut sel ral mal al sel awabla tal change makoro mesa Medal Nidul sa kelel tega dira angara 1 to 2 days el change anyway ngali mis clothing it masel sugum gdmo auror sel Medal Nidul en dial sebel wal goram le ul rawa eril gdmo la len dia ngdi erwel imam dia mesa magdamal mengil morsel wable tal sandel mal dia gora sisi lut ma yolt esel de bong yamo sebem gora masak medal ngara mo tri el sarma in front of you Anyway, mong sa Christina sa igay dapat to ang magtatal na survey ni asigura sa Amral Morio el time ang malang sa lowest point about did you say sigura is about 40% at the moment.
No, 4 to 5%.
4 to 5 at yung
Yeah,
mal
so it's really low.
that's really low.
Yeah.
Mal gagre sa idil sigras what was the recommendation again? Try to reduce the
Sedimentation. So, yeah.
Oy, talak ko sa sige del sediment taul mang malara ang sila madal diul tomra sen sediment le tial ayray tial buluray ray medro oror mentara mal ol goradi merula or moving activity leng rualis ra marang ula development mang mal ul toy betor talak ko sen kalele gagi del gora close development taul medro gora clothing tel me etob der sige del البيش قاعد ما بقول كمان ده شيء راسي قد ما لاش بالغرة جيجريني شيء دلقيت المتوب دين أبو سئل الغرة improve تيال condition را تيال مثلا غديول MPA. Okay, that's very interesting. I mean, it's been surveyed for about 12 years now, and you're saying SR. When it comes to sea cucumber, it's promising, a lot of sea cucumbers, and but the seagrass is somehow still going 50% in SR, right?
It decreased by 50%.
Oh, sel dulu arang SR ang malungila yale ruale marugui hindi sigura sa wabla linge madra ogim el basent. Again, tendría que espera si te allí del el togora gora ngit ngara asimisuri bel metuo. Ya ko madal ngadiul la sayid del dirlo ay sila say 4 to 5% aklungila arang ngari al time. Tendría que lo gora oltlaqa se te ayuda el método de teya legal de te sel de que da ma bola se la al wa di el asil lo magani en dio el mol mo boden el mat ay ge ya gora brincamente agora aurol na botmok and at this moment I believe you are still kind of analyzing some data and writing reports for the other MPAs, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so hopefully we'll get those reports out soon, and they'll be posted on our website.
I see. I got to go tegi de gora discuss marang report marang at sumunga ni adol gora swal lo mesa gora full detail report ko mal di visit sel picnic website e gora dan lo de gegi del gapira gal result regal ura MPL blal lose ngara segi de website la picnic Yep, that's very interesting, Christina. Thank you, you and Piera, and all the research staff for doing such, time-intensive, physical, involve physical, intensity. I've been doing this kind of work before you came. I mean, assisting the research, so I know how it is. I've been there. Anyway, so thank you very much, Christina and Piera. That'll come to the conclusion of our show. And so, before we close, let me just kind of summarize what we've talked so far. So MPAs are marine protected area close to trail. Gorawado donguringi emanates kerger madbela abulwade. Aongeru asaya. Abulur bela ngarnya seguido da sen network MPA lo modonia sen protected areas network ma abulur ngarnya MPA ngi solo dar sengi as elmo sa seguido obisa marine pan protected areas network eguk langaria ko application do film arang emo member tagi del pan protected areas network ngosya ko ra center amalmon monitor gal MPA ma jagi del marine protected areas ما bolsebed الملمول المسوب ما بوضو دنيل وسي مال وانرادو المول ملونيل سباق لغال drula arma gargere legal bisa tai drop suba subdi lasi ngagi da all songs ngagi da rotak mengiri improving ma gora sentera mal mol mul lagi drulor o siga gel ral dogiwi e mo se bedel mral go goringi dagdi daga goringi mo se bedel sob akli atial coral reef masigras ma aigel maklok tutel ngigil ngiar adra bulua o spel gora gira ma atingire commercially important fish ma dire legal aled ay gayid el monitoring regal MPA awal ngaswira Trigal adrom subra kora center mumosbil mega recommendation kora mosil lotob daigel kora wal recommendation tit el mora ga yidra garu sulbulu tigel ngora la gal MPL la sei tiagi da kora gimil sang om tiago di recommendation la sei motmok egel sel improve ma kora center ma amal mol motmok lagi del monitoring mosil gutmok la will recommendation el mortigel resource managers tigel adlo ngora la ga yidel se agora me da tal toxi orgide el alsils en hagamo musim el asulira regulado no sei guktunin orange e al segundo mangarinha agora soal agora mo muy lom so de la tial agagi del agora riff agagi del report gimul mas en false el load en wal mera agora riff 4886950 malu ben visita el website agora riff ni www.picrc.org seguido el website del logonin si así sois balsel en ma muy lom so de la agagi del report matogora urere la agagi del MPA malo I say ahora bogusim le digo terul before we close you wanna say something before our closing just the last word okay
Thanks for listening.
okay madalo I say mal no saltonino res tial Brussels e mama mong mol mrula ora ma ukol boria masel guk next el belsela a Brussels guk mel lo lava guk bebira ai singira bebira aurora ora Vicente Madole siya man Saul.
Talingim, oh you. Tarawra wardal balula lembalti karin el malat karang aramata arangalage balwa Mother Bay